Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk some more to Warcraft. But first, I have to say something. If there is even a 1 in a billion chance someone from Blizzard sees this video and hears these words. When, please, for the love of God, is Warcraft 3 Reforged being released? I need to know. I must know. I seriously cannot take any more of these leaked pictures. Oh, on Wowhead, I can't take it. Just give me the game already. Ah, all joking aside, Warcraft 3 looks absolutely it looks fantastic. It's looking good, but take your time, Blizzard. Please take your time and make sure it's great. That game is going to be well worth waiting for. So, yeah, but oh my God, the teasing, naughty. So. Let's get on with our topic for today. Flexi dungeons in the future. No. Panic not. This isn't a clickbait Belia video. Don't worry. I'm going to tell you right now. I have no clue. I have no inside source. I have no mystical crystal ball that this is ever going to happen. I do not. As a fan, it's just interesting to have some banter, to speculate and come up with crazy ideas. And given the new technology, I say that with air quotations, they're coming up with, it opens some interesting possibilities, let's say that. So we spoke yesterday about the newbie starting area. To call it Exiles something or other. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm old, don't judge me. And with this starting area came, at the very end, a Flexi mini dungeon that could be completed with between 1 to 5 players. We also have the new visions that are coming. The Vision of Orgrimmar and the Vision of Stormwind, which is change the game based on, or it changes the numbers and so on and so forth, based on the amount of people that are participating. And of course we have the soon to be released, not fast enough, Tower of Torghast in Shadowlands. And that is an ever-changing dungeon, again based on flex system. Now, we have a flex system currently. In regards to raiding, the number of people changes, it changes the boss's health. What is interesting about the new flex system is that it now takes into account abilities and class roles, so on and so forth, available within the group. Meaning, any roles can be taken, such as 5 healers if you wanted. So, we don't know any of the details on this, but what we can guess, based on what Blizzard have said, is, say the boss would be doing, or the boss would have far less health, because 5 healers can produce less DPS, but the amount of damage the boss would do would be far higher. Maybe even, say, group-wide damage, because you have so many healers, they can all heal each other, so you'd have a group-wide healing where they'd all have to take into account of this. Whereas if you had 5 DPS, the boss's health would be much higher, but the damage that he would slay upon us would be far less. Imagine this system used in dungeons. And yeah, it gets a little bit interesting. It's one of the things that, as I said before, really excites me about the new Torghast Tower. This sort of flexy dungeon that I like the idea it changes anyway. I like that. That it's going to be different every time you kind of approach it. But that aside, I like the idea that I can jump in with my friends. Doesn't matter if one of my mates says, "Oh, I'm sick. I'm not going to be on tonight." We can't. It's not like many times I've had it with Mythic when we had a solid 5-man group. We would be, "Oh, we're doing Mythic tonight," and then somebody would go, "Oh, I can't do it tonight." And you'd be like, "Ah, but you've known about this for weeks." "Yeah, but I can't do it." And that was it. Then one of your friends would be like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm going to go then. I'm going to spend time with the missus." And you'd be like, "Well, should the 3 of us just do islands then instead?" So I like the idea. I think there is great possibility in this. I will say here, I'm going to say this. I do not believe any system like this should be used for top-end content. I don't think that it should be used for, and I mean by the changing of the roles, shouldn't be used for like normal raiding, heroic raiding. Mythic raiding already has a fixed system. Mythic raiding is already fixed around 20 players. So I don't think from like normal raiding above you should change the tank. The Trinity should not be changed. You should always have tank, DPS, healer at top end content. Don't mind the flex system. But I think for Mythic Plus, and certainly for Mythic Raiding, just don't leave it as it is. It works. It's good. Maybe, you know, at the very top end, allow more than just rogues. Just saying. Be nice, but there we go. A role-agnostic system similar to Guild Wars 2 would be very interesting for, say, leveling. It would cut the queue times for DPS down to nothing for anybody. If you've ever queued as a tank, you hit that button, you know, it goes click. And you're like, oh, I don't even have time to get up into the toilet or get myself a drink. Oh. Whereas your DPS is currently asleep because they've been in the queue for 45 minutes. I know people are saying, would roll a tank or roll a healer, idiot. But here's another scenario, okay? And I've had this scenario where you're with a couple of friends and you've all rolled tanks. And specifically, you want to play as tank. You want to play as a monk tank, paladin tank, warrior tank. But yet, you've got to pick generally one person, or you have to do that cheesy thing where you all click tank and you all click DPS, and you join up that way. No. Now, you can level up as a 3-man tank group, and the dungeon will flex itself around you. It'll take into account your abilities. It'll take into account that you are 3 tanks, so things will hit harder. You may even have to do crazy things like let's tank swap and stuff like that. The ideas, the limits are just, there are none. They could go as crazy as they want. Now, granted, it would take a lot of work to go back, certainly for older dungeons. It's going to take a lot of work to implement this kind of thing. I know it sounds crazy. Blizzard themselves have spoken, and we spoke about this yesterday, about the need for new blood being brought into the game. And I think to get that, and also to hold on to a large section of the player base that wants to play solo, or very limited regarding the interaction they have to do with others. Because you think about it, that's where WoW is right now. I can log in, I can do Mythic Plus for my chest, I can do islands, I can do all these things, and I could pug a raid, and I don't really need to talk to anybody. I could just pug all these things. There's no interaction. So people going, oh, but you'd ruin the community of the game. It's like, well, really? It's already in a pretty bad state. Unless you're doing very high-end content, you don't really need to talk to anybody. So why not go, okay, look, we accept that. Let's cater to it in many ways. And then we can have very much like raiding, where this top-end content, we can balance that well for a small percentage. And if you want to step up to that level, all good for you. Lastly, I think it's a system that would also benefit players joining late to an expansion, or returning to the game, like I have done. I've recently re-rolled from a warlock to a warlock so I could join a raiding guild, and I would have loved to have jumped in to do some heroics, but they're dead. People hit 120, doesn't matter what their item level is, and they go straight to Mythic, because they want the chest, they want the loot, and they have no idea about mechanics. They don't understand. They'll do Shrine of the Storms, and they have no idea. They have no idea about the orbs. They're just like, oh my god, I've been mind controlled, run to the edge of the room. I said, dude, what are you doing over there? I could really do you getting this giant orb that's following me around. Just come and stand in it. No, you trick me! You pug, I see what you try and do. No, I shall stand over here where I am safe. Yeah, we've all been there. We've all seen that. And I think being able to jump into, heroics and things like that, even solo, and just see these mechanics for yourself, would be really good. You could stand there at the boss. I'm just about to pull. I'm solo. Okay. I can breathe. I can take time. Let's open up the journal. Let's have a look through. Okay, so this boss does this. When I get this, I can go and do that. Okay, that makes sense. And you could have it so that, say, the NPC, I think Rexar goes with you at that point, they're kind of tanking the boss, and you are, run around with the orb and that sort of thing. There's ways they can tweak it and do it. And it would be really interesting and a really good way for players to read and understand mechanics without feeling this huge pressure that I'm in Mythic and I'm actually ruining this experience for other players. Which people don't really care about now, but it's something you should care about, because we're all there for a good time. We're all there to enjoy the game. And it feels horrible if you're the one messing up for others, because you're getting stick off of them. Nobody wants that. You don't want to be causing people grief, and you definitely don't want to be getting grief in return. Also, the interesting would be you could use this for, say, LFR raids as well. So, for instance, if you've got a quest line that says, hey, I need you to do the Battle of Desire Law, and you're going to do this, this, and this, and that's going to give you something at the end of it. But yet now you know you have no chance to do Battle for Desire Law. Nobody's doing it. They're all doing Tower Palace. So you have no chance. Or even at the end of the raid, so when we're coming towards the release of 8.3, you're going to get huge queue times even trying to do Eternal Palace on LFR. But you want to get this quest done. You want to see that next part of the story. Well, okay, have a flexi role agnostic system where you just realistically need 10 people, doesn't even care, doesn't even matter what they are. Just throw them all in, blump, there you go, have some fun. And it changes around you. What do you guys think? Would a flex system be an interesting addition to WoW? They've got the technology. They are building technology as we speak. They're literally implementing the first step of it in 8.3. We're then going to get in 9.0. We're getting the kind of the big boy version with the new dungeon. We're getting a light version in the new leveling zone. Do you think it would be of a benefit? Do you think it would help? Do you think it would fragment what is an already desperately fragmented community that plays an MMO without ever really wanting to talk to anybody or ever having to speak to anybody? That most definitely is a subject for another day, though. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an absolute pleasure. Please leave your comments down below. It's actually really interesting to see what you guys and girls think about the new potential flexi system that they could introduce. Not just flexi, but agnostic. Yeah, role agnostic. Similar to Guild Wars. Anyway, that is me done, ladies and gentlemen. Have an amazing one, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Laters.